Hello everybody, I'm Jim and welcome to my review for the movie Signs from 2002. And these are the kind of movie reviews I'm gonna do about older movies, about earlier released movies. So no recent movies, but really older movies. And I basically want to express my love for these kind of movies, because the movies I'm gonna review in these kind of review, my love for reviews. These are the movies that I really love, and I just want to share the reasons why I'm loving these movies so very much. And now I want to talk about one of my favorite movies of all time, one of my favorite horror movies of all time, and that's the movie Signs. Signs is a movie directed by M. Night Shyamalan and also starring Mel Gibson, Joaquin Phoenix, Rory Culkin, and a very young Abigail Breslin as a very cute character. Um, so Signs is a movie that I have seen when I was a kid. I have not seen this movie in theater. I would really have loved watching this film in theater, but I have seen it, I believe, a year after its release in 2003. I guess I was 7 years old. My parents introduced me to this movie, Signs, and immediately I fell in love with this movie. I was so fascinated by it on this very young age. I was still very little, and even now, like more than 20 years later, I'm still fascinated by this movie. I've seen this movie so many times, and you know what the really charming thing about this movie is? At first, you see this as an alien movie, as an alien invasion movie that really focuses on the survival of this particular family, the Haas family. But after rewatching it so many times, you always see something different. You have other interpretations, you have other ideas, other meanings to certain scenes, and Signs is really that movie that every time you watch it is a movie that keeps giving you something new, something fresh. That's why I'm really loving it for it. And yeah, like I said, I love this movie. I think it's one of a masterpiece. I do not really have flaws in this movie, so I can really say in this review how much I love this movie and every aspect that I love about this movie. I will just highlight some things that I really love on this movie. But what I really want to do in this review is focus on two things. Two things that are a bit uncertain to some audience members, or not very clear, and that's the aliens. I want to more talk about the aliens and the ending, the last 5 minutes. Those last 5 minutes are a bit controversial. For some, the movie really falls flat because of those 5 minutes. Some are even calling that those last 5 minutes ruined the movie or are just plain stupid. So I want to really focus on that whole swing away concept in this movie. But let's first, some really quick thoughts. I really love how M. Night Shyamalan directed this movie. You really see his style. And like I said in my ranking of all his movies, his first 4 movies, which I consider to be The Sixth Sense, Unbreakable, Signs and The Village, you really see his talent, the greatness that he has as a director and a storytelling. So in Signs, you really see that. It's also written by him, and sometimes you can see that. It's brilliantly written. He puts so much things in this movie, things that you don't really catch in the first viewing, but after multiple viewings you see all kinds of things, you make other connections between scenes. So it's definitely one of his better written movies. His first few movies, Sixth Sense and Unbreakable Signs, are perfect written movies. However, in these movies there are also so really strange things. And the strangest thing about this movie is probably the sheriff in this movie, or the deputy, at least the cop. There is this female cop character that visits the Hess family, especially in the early early scenes in the movie. And I don't know, her dialogues or the things she says are just really strange and completely random and out of the blue. Like she starts talking about some guy that, or some old lady that is spitting on skateboards, or a Scandinavian athlete that is a really fast runner. So it's completely out of the blue, but I don't know, it has still his charming effect. Also, the characters, really love those characters. It's a family that you really root for. All the characters are very well played by the actors. What is really interesting is that Mel Gibson is this movie, and before Signs we know Mel Gibson especially as an action star with movies like Ransom, Payback, or the Lethal Weapon movies. So he goes from this action star to a family member, the father, and he has not really a lot of action scenes in this movie. And I really like that, to see Mel Gibson in another kind of movie, and the role really suits him actually. And what I really adore about this movie is the practical effects of this film. Especially all the signings, the navigation signs from the aliens in the cornfield. That was actually done manually by the crew. There was no CGI, and I really like that dedication for this film. So those were my quick thoughts on the movie. So let's focus on the aliens. And like I said, this is a movie that allows you to really think about and have a lot of interpretation on the things happening in this movie. And I really like to watch other videos on people talking about how they see the movie, and sometimes I come across interesting theories in this movie. And one theory is the demon theory, and that really intrigued me because the movie is also about Mel Gibson's character, Graham Hess, that lost his faith after the death of his wife, and the whole movie is about him gaining that faith back. And in that idea, there was this theory that the aliens are not extraterrestrials, but in fact they are demons. And they really explained it, and I think it actually makes sense. But every time I do a rewatch of this movie, even did a rewatch of the movie with the whole demon theory in my mind, and no, I don't think the demon theory really works that well in the movie. For me, science is and was and will always be a movie about aliens. And I really liked these kind of movies. Movies about an alien invasion. And maybe because of these movies, I was really, as a kid, scared for an alien invasion. If people told me what do you fear the most, my answer would be when the aliens come to Earth. Because that would be really scary. I think humankind don't make any chance against aliens, even the aliens from science, because these aliens are actually pretty scary. And if you ask me, back in the day when I first saw this movie, when I was in my teenage years, what is the scariest movie that you have ever seen? My answer was always Science. And that has something to do that, probably like many of you as well, Science has traumatized me as a kid. And I'm talking about one scene in particular. That's the Brazilian birthday party. You know, when Joaquin Phoenix's character, what's his name, Merle Haas, is in the closet watching this TV, and they are showing this clip of an alien caught on camera. It's all found footage. You know, when people see something, they usually grab their shittiest camera they have and they start filming the creature. And they are focusing on this alley, and then this alien just goes from the right to the left, and that was just scary. My reaction was pretty much the same reaction as Joaquin Phoenix in the closet. That was a truly effective, scary scene. And that scene traumatized me as a kid, and therefore I still consider it one of the scariest movies I ever seen because of that experience and because of the whole alien invasion idea. But now the scare effect lose some effect over time for me, but still it's one of the scariest movies I have seen. Also the aliens, there are some problems with the aliens. They think the aliens can't handle wood or wooden doors. Like in the movie there is a scene where an alien is trapped in a pantry, and he can't get out. Now that same alien we see again at the end of the movie. That was the last alien we see. So that alien actually figured out a way to free himself from that pantry. And I think these aliens are actually very intelligent. They figure out how to get to certain points. That's also explained at the end of the movie when the family is in the basement and they are also known, they are trying to find a way to get in, so they have to be smart and try to find that possible way in first before the aliens. So I don't have problems with that. Also, the weakness of water. And here there are the most problems about the aliens. Why people are thinking, why would these aliens go to a planet in which the majority is actually water if they know that is their weakness? Well, in the movie it's explained that these aliens are very desperate. It has been told by the kid character, the male kid character, that the aliens probably have used everything on their planet, all the resources of the planet. They really have used it all, and they are desperate to find something else to use. And I don't think there are that many planets in the galaxy that has life or that has a possibility to have life on it. So Earth is probably maybe the only option for them to survive. So they are taking the chances to this planet, even it's containing of water. But you also see, and the veterinarian character played by M. Night also explained this, all the crop fields, signings, they are not near water. So they already know that this is their weakness and they are trying to avoid water at any cost. They are not going near lakes, seas, oceans. And they probably, even early on in the movie, there was a news broadcast that there are already these signings in the crop fields in the 80s. And that is probably the aliens doing some recon on our planet before invading it 20 years later. That was a very interesting detail. And I don't think that water is their weakness per se. I think it's more the bacteria in the water. They are allergic to something that the water contains. And I think Bo has, the female kid, has that same condition. She has this condition that she drinks water and she knows there's something wrong with the water. It tastes funny, it's contaminated, and I think she tastes exactly what the aliens are allergic to. So I have no issues with that whatsoever. Now I want to focus on the second layer of this movie. So we have the aliens and then we have our family, the Haas family. And I think this is a very interesting family. When we first see this family, and that's very interesting because we go full circle. The movie focuses on a shot of a window and we see the garden. No one is in the garden. In the first scenes we already see that all the family members are separated from each other. The brother is even sleeping in the garden shed. The kids are outside, the father is still in the house, and we see that that he used to be a father in the other way of the word, because used to be a cross on the wall, and you see the mark still on the wall, but the cross is gone. So he lost his faith, and this has all to do because the family had a trauma. They lost their mother, they lost their wife, sister-in-law, and they are still recovering from that loss, each on their way. And the father lost his faith. You see that the brother is really taking charge of his sister, and also the little sister is trying to figure out the loss of her mother. And that is very interesting to see these characters in this state. Even Merle has issues of their own. He was a very potential baseball player. He would have been one of the major league's best, but he kind of ruined his own career and he can't recover from that. And because that was his purpose, that was his goal, and he lost his goal and he doesn't know what to do with his life. Even in the scene we see him go to the military because he wants to apply, and that's what he wanted to do. He lost it, and everyone knows him as this baseball player, the failed baseball player. And what I really like is that this movie really focuses on this family, and then it goes full circle. At the end of the movie, we see that same shot from the window after the alien invasion, and we see the garden and the family is back together. They are hugging each other. They all doing great, and that has something to do with the flashback. Now I want to talk about the flashback. During the movie, we see 3 instances of this flashback when Graham Hess goes to his wife, who is gonna die any moment, and she says some things, and that's very interesting because I have 2 interpretations of that flashback scene. Either she can see the future because she tells what the 4 members of the family has to do. Maybe she has seen something in the future that, and she wants to give tips. But I don't think that is really accurate. I've tried to investigate that because why do I think that? Because of Boaz. Boaz has a dream in this movie, and she sees the alien invasion in her dream, and that her brother is going to die. And constantly in the movie, she is worried about her brother. She even says to her brother that she thinks he's going to die, and the brother says that's not going to happen to me. But she has that dream. She feels something is going to happen, and I think maybe that's a gift that she got from her mother. But I think Boaz is just unique. She just have feelings, maybe a sixth sense, and I think what the flashback really wants to do, in my opinion, or how I see the flashback, is that in the last moments of Colleen Hess before she dies, you see really in the flashback you really see that she knows she's gonna die. She accepted that, and I think before she really goes to another place, she has her last memory, one of her favorite memories, and that is the baseball game in which Merle Hess does his famous home run in 1997. And she really relives that moment, and she also knows what the family is going to do after that when she dies. So she tells her last things. Morgan has to take care of his sister, and she knows that he's going to take care of his sister. So she also tells that he has to play games, that he's not going to be the parent. She does not want him to be the parent, and that was nice. You also see that during the whole movie. To Boaz, she tells to listen to his brother, and that's what she do during the whole movie. And she's actually most worried about her brother to die. That's also very interesting to see in this movie. To her husband, she says to see, because she probably knows when she's gonna die, that he's gonna lose faith, that he's gonna be nothing without her, and she does not want to do that. So she says see. And to Merle, he has to say swing away, and that's probably the memory working in her head, because during the memory she probably says swing away, and Merle did the home run. And in the last moments, when the family is faced to our final alien, our Graham character also relives, because he probably thinks he's gonna die as well, and he relives his last memory. And during the whole movie he was depressed. He was constantly reliving the flashback scene, the moment he had to say goodbye to his wife. And now in the last moments before he thinks he's gonna die, he relives that memory again, and she remembers these words. And in that moment he sees again, he found his fate, he thinks it's gonna be alright. And then he says to Merle, swing away. And when the word swing away, when he pronounced those words, I get goosebumps, because I know Merle is gonna be that alien. And he does that, and the family is back together. That's my interpretation of that flashback scene. I know everyone has his own interpretation, everyone has other meaning in certain scenes, and that is what this movie makes so great, because everyone sees it on a different level. This is just how I see the movie, this is how I experience the movie, this is the interpretation that I like giving it to this movie. So those were my thoughts on this movie. That is why I love science so much. I hope you enjoyed my review. Always be free to share your thoughts in this movie or your interpretations on certain things in this movie below in the comments. Would love to read that. And if you want to see more reviews of me in which I express my love for all the movies, always be free to subscribe to my channel. And till the next time.